Welcome to another episode of Arsenal Above All. I'm really looking forward to this one. We've definitely got something cooking this season, and to go through the delicious menu of the buffet that was served up at the Emirates on Sunday, I've got two legends with me. I've got Neil Shah and I've got James Johnstone. How you doing, guys?
Very well, thank you. Couldn't be happier. But we haven't been tested yet, so you know.
No, we'll touch on that, Neil. We'll touch on that in a second. But obviously, just before we start, I think with everyone, with on your behalfs, I'll just say, obviously that I think since the last pod, they had the devastating news of what happened came from Indonesia and the incident that happened at the football stadium, and we just want to say, obviously, you know, it goes without saying a football fan shouldn't be going to a game and not be able to come back. And just heartbreaking stuff. And you know, all our best wishes are to those families and people, anyone who's connected to that and who's hurt by that. And we hope the people who instigated all of that get justice served to them swiftly over there, and also to obviously the terrible incident that happened over in Donegal in Ireland as well. Just seems to be a lot of stuff going on at the moment and a lot of misery. So, you've got to celebrate life while you can. If that's a football result, celebrate it. If it's something that happens in your personal life, celebrate it. So, just wanted to pass our condolences on to those people who are affected. So, moving on to more happier things. Obviously, Arsenal. Still, I don't. People say we haven't been tested anybody yet, and we haven't played anyone big. Neil, a fantastic performance and a result against the big side at last that we finally played this season. I'm going to put you in a situation a bit different. So you're Mikel Arteta. The final whistle's gone. You've punched in the air and you're saying "Vamos, vamos," and you stride onto the pitch. Who's the first player that you go up to shake hands, and why?
A good one. Easy for me, Tomiyasu, because he was played out of position, not his normal position that we've known him or accustomed to, and he was absolutely magnificent. I was so worried when I saw the team sheet and then the positioning. I thought, what's going on here? Surely Tierney would have been playing if Zinchenko was injured. And oh my God, Tomiyasu hasn't even played much. He's come back from injury. Not only is he playing in theory out of position, I know I was told that he can play there. I wasn't aware. So that kind of mitigated my shock, but I didn't know that initially. And I just can't believe what a masterclass it was. He was absolutely magnificent. To be fair, on the opposite side, Ben White also. I think Ben White doesn't seem to get the recognition I think he deserves. Because you've got to remember, he was brought in as a central defender, and he's had to move over to the side, and he's doing a great job too. But Tomiyasu would have been, for me, the first person I would have gone to say, well done. That was just flawless. He just shut Salah up completely. I have to take my hat off to him. I won't, but I would proverbially do that. I'm taken aback by how good that player is. He certainly is the T101. He is the Terminator. He sees all. He's probably a robot, I think, because he sees his peripheral vision must be amazing to see everything, and he snuffed everything out for me. So Tomiyasu for me.
Oh, good man. James, who would be the man that you'd make a beeline for as soon as you've gone onto that pitch?
Well, I would have potentially have done the same as Neil. However, just to be different, I would go up to Martinelli, and as I go up to shake Martinelli's hand, I would have had like a little betting shop pen, maybe, and slipped that in as well, and then just gone contracts in there, and you're locked in there until you sign it. 200 million clause if you want to buy it. Get it all in there. Get all the clauses in there. We got Neil here, so it's great to talk to him. When he played that first pre-season game, I think it was against Fiorentina, and he made an amazing run, and he had that chance. And I think did he hit it wide or did he hit it at the keeper? I can't remember. My memory's like a sieve. It's terrible. But Neil was in the chat that we have, the WhatsApp group chat that we have, going, "Oh my God, this is the best. This is the best player. This is the one." So Neil's seen it from day one. Obviously, he's just come on leaps and bounds. And do you know what? I said earlier in the week that I see glimpses of Overmars. I see glimpses of Sanchez. And I feel like I'm doing him a disservice because I actually think he could be better than both of them. The way that he's going and the ceiling that this boy has, and it's the same for Saka on the right-hand side. They can both be whatever they want to be, and hopefully it's with Arsenal because as the team is getting better, so are those two players. And boy, did we, people were saying, "Oh, we're over-reliant on Jesus at the moment." We're getting goals from everywhere. I don't know what games people are watching. Saka's been getting flack for not producing as much as he did last year, and that's where I get angry because I'm like, well, hang on a sec. All last year, it's always going through Saka. Oh, this kid needs a break. It's not fair. He's a 19-year-old boy pulling through the team of men. When are these other players going to step up? Now the other players are stepping up. They're moaning that Saka's not doing enough. I'm like, what do you want? Make it make sense, because I think it's fantastic. I think the togetherness, I think the group, I think the fans, everything has all been lifted. Michael, last week you in your Spurs show that's done amazingly well, and you all deserve it. It was a great podcast. You put all the numbers up on the screen, and there was even stuff that, and I love me numbers, especially when it comes to football. There was stuff there that I didn't even know, and as I'm reading that, I'm like, oh, blind, I didn't know this, and it's saying it. The main number is where we are in the league, and that's number one, and it's going to stay that way.
I mean, it's my one would be I'll probably go with both hands out like that, and probably would go to Tomiyasu with one hand and Martinelli with the other, because for both of them, because they're pretty much working in tandem, weren't they, to shut down that left hand side. All credit to Tomiyasu, but the amount of times that Martinelli was dropping in there and acting as an auxiliary sort of left wing back sort of thing, or an extra left sided midfielder, just to give him that support. And it was amazing. I mean, it's kind of scary how these guys are performing, like, in a partnership. Ben White and Saka on the other side. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I spoke about him a couple of weeks ago, Saka, in terms of the performance against England, and what he did. It sort of took him on another few steps. The way he came in and took the game by the scruff of the neck. But these two guys, I mentioned something about mentality monsters. People have been talking about Liverpool being mentality monsters for the last couple of years, and rightly so in terms of the performances that they've been doing. But what we went through last season, with failing to get to the Champions League, the last couple of games and falling apart, that seems to. It's not good that that's happened, but it's obviously they've used that as fuel to take into this season. The players have mentioned it. Ramsdale's mentioned it. Ben White's mentioned it. But with those two in particular, people are saying, "Oh, they're going to hit. They're not going to be able to do it. They're not going to be able to pull through." But when you look at Martinelli and look at Saka, what I've noticed is they've been sort of rock bottom. One, because of Martinelli's injury. He's come back from a knee injury, which was pretty severe. Got him out. He had to sit back when he was coming back. And we all know what happened with Saka with England with the penalty shootout. So these two, the mentality of them is just scary at the age that they are and the numbers that they're producing. And again, with Saka being the man to take that penalty with all the stuff that was going on with the penalty situation, Van Dijk trying to knock the ball out of his hands and stuff like that. I'm going to keep saying it. I'll keep asking the questions until they sign it. And I'll ask Neil a lot. I know what Neil's going to say, but James, just reassure me. There's nothing to worry about in terms of the contract situation for both of those and Saliba. You think?
You've started to worry him now. Look, he's gone. He's cowering. Look.
No
No.
way, my worry. No way.
No. I just think it's the usual. You know, it's the number. I keep going back to numbers, don't I? Sorry. I just think it's the formalities. They, you know, the agent goes that, we go this. Well, the club, sorry, not we. They go this, and then we'll meet somewhere in the middle. But I think all three of them, and you know, we've said it for years, especially the last 2 seasons. We've gone, look, if we do not make Champions League football, one of them is going to go. One of those 2 players is going to go. And when you go 14 points clear of Liverpool, you've got to think, you know, you're at least in. For me, I think we're in there. I think if you drop below the top 4 in the position that we're in now, then you've got to seriously ask what's happened, because I think momentum's on our side. And I know a lot of people, all of a sudden, you know, the opposition fans have started calling us Varsenal. And I couldn't believe it. I went, it's about time we had the rub of the green, because we've had it rubbish for ages. You know, when the opposition fans are rattled and panicking, you know that you're somewhat back, and we just got to complete the job now. And I think it's a good time to do it. You talked about the mentality monsters there, Michael. Do you want to go back to that later on, or should I pick it up now?
No, you can talk about it now, mate. No, go for it.
Yeah. For me, I've still got, you know, obviously some certain reservations. However, that is a game when it got bitty like that last year, and you made a great point many podcasts ago when you said about Arteta and emotion. I think last year when he did what he did with Klopp, and a lot of people were like, "Yes, Mikel, he lost control there." Then Anfield got lifted, and their noise went up, and then we just completely flopped it. And you know what? I think that he didn't get as involved in that at the weekend. I thought he was calm and composed, and I think that fed into the team, and we just got our job done and done what we needed to do. And you know what? It's Jack's always said it. It's the performance. It's the results, not the performances. Yeah. Because obviously, we've had it before where you know that these aren't sustainable. Yeah, we're out here doing. You know, Neil mentioned it. The Man City game at home last year, we didn't get the rub of the green, but we were so much better than them. I think, you know, everyone could see that. And yes, I think that there were certain decisions in that game that even I've gone, they're a bit questionable in favour of our side. However, when you are top, you do get those decisions. I've seen it when we were dominating. You know, that as much as I disagree with Danny Mills' statement about Robert Pires brought diving into the Premiership. I think he missed Jurgen Klinsmann and everyone else a few years before that. However, Robert Pires did dive. He used to dive quite often. But when you're the top, things go your way. So long may it continue. Because I'm sick and tired of not having it my way.
No, I mean, touching on that, you know, the way Arteta has been, obviously the way I still think he maybe got emotionally involved in the Man United game away, where he basically threw all his chips in and tried to get something from that game, because he just thought it was a travesty that we were losing the game that we absolutely dominated. But Neil, obviously, in terms of Arteta, that win for me, it was like a synergy of performance and obviously the result. But obviously, it was like almost again, it was the mentality of us to where we were, especially for me, the last 10, 15 minutes of that game on Sunday, where we, you know, there's times we were attacking, we were keeping possession, we were moving it along the back four, coming back again. Was there a moment? What was the moment for you? Obviously the goals, but what was the moment for you when you thought, you know, wow, you know, this is different. You know, this is the performance that we're putting in. You know, obviously on compounded onto what we've done previously. But was there any moment where you felt, you know, this looks slightly different in terms of how we're managing the game? That's one of the key things I think I've always had about Arteta. But was there any point in the game where you thought, one, we looked good, or like looked like we weren't going to lose the game, or were you still concerned about how we were managing the game towards the end?
Well, if you want to think, the only point where I thought we could not throw it away, but I thought we may struggle was after after we scored the goal, we kind of came off the gas a little bit, and I don't know why, because we should have been attacking them, because they are flagging at the back, and the way our attackers are playing at the moment, it's scintillating stuff. So I don't know why it just felt like we sat back. We let them take control of the game. I mean, I know that was the first half, and of course they got the goal. But in the second half, I mean, getting that penalty, getting the second goal right on the stroke of half time was great. I mean, I think I actually don't think it would have changed Arteta's team talk that much, because I think he would have still said, "What are you doing? You've got to go forward. You've got to drive at them." So I don't think it would have changed things, but it was just a bonus to have that lead. And it was just unfortunate. I think that my heart sank a little bit when Firmino came on, because he's a great player. And look what happened. I mean, it was very similar to Odegaard's pass that the service he got, and then they scored. But to be honest, what I've seen different, it's not just this game, Michael. I saw it right from the beginning of the season. I saw it in the friendlies. I think the whole attitude and mentality of the whole squad, maybe the whole club, the culture, something has dynamically shifted into a very positive outlook. It just feels like, people were saying, well, they haven't been down in a game. Well, we have been down in 2 games and we came back. But, how are they going to respond when they have a loss? Well, we lost to Man U, and what have we done? 4 or 5 wins on the trot. How are they going to fare against the top 6 teams? Beating Tottenham, beating Liverpool. I mean, we're answering all the questions. And for me, the difference is, James said the word earlier, it's the togetherness. I think we are playing for each other. And I'm not just talking about the players on the pitch at any one time. I'm talking about the whole thing, the whole culture. The manager is involved. He's growing game by game. Yeah. He made that error against Man U with the substitutes. And I remember saying to myself, maybe I said it aloud to you guys, but I remember saying he will learn from that, because it just seems to me that not only he is, but all the players are getting better game by game. They are improving all the time. And you know why that is? It's because of this winning mentality, this momentum. It breeds confidence. It's so infectious. And I think also a big key on everything has been the introduction of Jesus and Zinchenko into this club. They're both winners. Yeah, they've both tasted success. And because they've raised the bar, Tierney's playing better. Tomiyasu comes in his position, plays unbelievable. Martinelli's playing better because he's got to keep up with Jesus. Saka is Saka. I mean, and Xhaka, because of the way everything is set up now, and because Partey's playing so well, he's raised his game like he's a completely different person. I think he's a clone, actually. I don't think it's the original Xhaka. So I think it's a grand. It's how can you say, everything has been encapsulated in this new ethos. And it's going to continue. It's going to continue.
You make a great point as well, Neil, because I mean, if you look at last season, if we had in the calendar Spurs and Liverpool back to back, you'd have said to me, we might win one of those, but we're not winning both. And this year we've done it. To beat 2 of last season's top 4 back to back, and still yet have all these questions from these so-called experts and everything else like that, it's a joke. It's a joke. Yeah. I think, I was shocked to finally actually see, I mean, not Roy Keane, because Roy Keane has always been respectful of Arsenal. He knows the legacy of it all. But to see Carragher, who was dancing and laughing after that Brentford game last season, to see him actually go, nah, you've got to worry about Arsenal now.
He shouldn't be on TV after what he done.
I know.
Disgusting what he done. He shouldn't even be on TV. Yeah. It's just, I mean, it's ridiculous.
The tide is changing. And
and the tide is changing because they're trying to find the most flimsiest kind of put downs on us. They've moved from the penalty now to saying that Saka was offside for the first goal. Go on, keep it coming. Go on, just say that we should have. Why don't you? I tell you what, raise the 3 points and give Liverpool the win, for goodness sake. I'm actually sick of it, Michael. I'm really sick of it.
Because they might actually do that.
Well, it's because we've beaten the media darlings, haven't we? Back to back. We know Liverpool have got massive representation. The pundit wise and everything, and obviously with what they've done historically, and for whatever reason, Tottenham have been backed by everybody to as this super team, who haven't really yet to do anything. So it does make you laugh, and I think again, like we touched on last week, it's like they always forensically try and find a way to take shots at us. Celebration this week, no. Is Arteta stepping out of his box a technical area a bit too much? Or let's zero in on that. He's played a 15-year-old. That's outrageous. How dare he? So there's always seems to be some sort of narrative with this club, and I think it's mainly because of one idiot who works for Talksport and basically made his career out of trolling Arsenal. And when everyone latched on and saw what he's done, having this show called the Daily Arsenal, which he basically just ripped the piss out of the club for an hour, and then had all these irate Arsenal fans come on and try and defend the club. Everybody else has seen it. Oh, look at that! Look at the amount of hits they've got. Look at the amount of traction they've got. Yeah. And to a certain extent, that's what a lot of them are following. People are starting to, you saw Garth Crooks with some of the stuff he said about Xhaka. So, he doesn't like him and this and that, but really, really character assassinating the guy. And and it's like, is that really professional to do that when you're meant to be sort of objective and impartial? But that seems to be the way things are, and we just have to deal with it. I'm sure if we do end up winning the title, it will only be because Man City didn't want it, or Erling Targaryen decided to get injured or something like that. So whatever. But just talking on Arteta, as Neil has, James, would you think that's his biggest result, biggest win when you take into account everything? Obviously the opposition, but as Neil was saying, we seem to be always the last couple of games we've been second and having to win to go back again. So again, that touches on that mentality, knowing that, okay, maybe early doors, but we were top, we're second. But what do you think about it? Where would you rank that result up against all the ones he's had so far?
Yeah, I would say it's definitely in his top three. I think he would probably say that the FA Cup win and then maybe the Community Shield win, even though the Community Shield's sort of seen as it's not seen as a big thing. I think he'd probably put them up there because obviously they're the silverware. But yeah, I would say this is definitely, in terms of big Premier League win against big opposition. I mean, they're trying to peddle out that this one wasn't playing, this one wasn't playing. Give it a rest. Give it a rest. And do you know what? In his big games, again, you just point to the improvement. If you look at his big game last season, you had to go away to that lot and you had to win. You couldn't afford to lose it. And he put arguably our two worst 1v1 players up against Heung-min Son, and we all saw what happened. We all saw what happened. And he made that call. Again, I know I'm treading back, but he made that call to go for Tomiyasu when all of us saw how well Tierney did when he come on against Spurs. I thought he was brilliant when he come on, especially that shot he had second half as well. And then Tierney, I thought, didn't put a foot wrong against Bodo Glimt, and he was hooked early, which indicated to me, oh, okay, he's probably playing the next game.
Right, yeah.
But he still went with what his decision was, is that I'm going to play Tomiyasu. And wow, when Tomiyasu first signed for us, there was that div on Sky Sports News that was like, he's not even a right back. But the people like me and Jack that do our research, they were comparing him in Italy because I think he did some work for Bologna. They were comparing him to Gianluca Zambrotta, if you remember him.
Mm-hmm.
And Gianluca Zambrotta was one of the most ambidextrous fullbacks in the world. You could play him at right back, you could play him at left back, and he would do you a job. He could cross a ball as well, like Tomiyasu. I think Tomiyasu is quite underrated in terms of his crossing. I know he doesn't get up and down, but when he has to put that ball in, he can put the ball in. Trust me. And he was absolutely superb. The strength, the tenacity, everything. Like you said, he completely. I know Mo Salah is in a bit of an Aubameyang moment. He's got his, wait for him to be filmed in a hotel slagging off Klopp. That's coming because he's got his money now. He doesn't care. Again, I won't retread the ground, but what a performance from the man, and that is a massive conundrum now, because when Zinchenko, Tierney, and him are fully fit, he can decide. And do you know what? I think the players will like it. Like Neil said earlier, they've got to kick up the backside in that, my position's not safe.
Very true, mate. Very true. We've got competition. That's what you want. You want people to come in and drop performances like that and say, "Go on, drop me." I dare you to drop me. And obviously, do it in a positive way. And I think, like you said, touched on before, the camaraderie amongst the team, like the brotherhood that seems to be being fostered there. You can see it's genuine, man. These guys care for each other. We saw what happened with the incident, which I'll just call it that, the incident, until we find out exactly what the investigation comes out with. I'm not going to, I don't think it's right for us to talk about any of that, but you saw the way, Xhaka reacted to it. So there definitely is something cooking there, as I mentioned before. I think at the start of the, I watched Arteta's first interview at London Colney, I believe, and he basically, because he was talking, obviously he was there literally the night before when we got beat by City, and he said it was horrible sitting there seeing the faces of the fans, and he's been working, Man City. He knows what it takes to win. He knows what it takes to the standards, and hence, as you touched on, James, look at who he's brought in from Man City. Two guys that know what it takes. You only got to see the way Zinchenko is reacting in the stands. He could have been there just laid back with his glamorous other half, just chilling out, playing it really cool like someone do with his shades on, whatever. But no, the guy's like a fan. If you didn't know who the guy was, you high five him and be hugging and jumping up and down like most people do when because he's just like a fan. So these guys care, and that's all we've wanted for the longest time. Players that care, that give 100%, and if you give us good footballs, or yes, of course, but it's all looking promising, guys. As we reach that magical 10 game, should have been the 10th game. Obviously, with City, we should have been playing City this week, midweek, shouldn't we? And that would have been a cracker. But yeah, thanks for that so far. So what we do, we'll have a quick break, and then we'll talk about the upcoming games against Bodo Glimt, and also a bit of pain possibly to come with our visit to Elland Road at the weekend. So Bodo Glimt, I was pretty impressed with them, to be honest. I think they came and played football, and they created a couple of opportunities. I think their top scorer, I forgot his name, but he had a couple of snatches at goal. Matt Turner got a couple of saves, which would have done his confidence a lot of good. It was almost a perfect game in the sense that we were tested a little bit. The goalkeeper that you've got, that's got a clean sheet. He didn't have a book and a cigar out. He actually had to do a little bit of work. So there's some confidence building there. In terms of the team, James, would you go exactly the same, or would you roll the dice a little bit maybe? And with obviously with Leeds coming at the weekend.
Yeah, I mean, it's very difficult because I know that he likes the left-footed centre back, and we've only got one. So that just indicates that Gabriel will still play, and then Xhaka literally is the marathon man, isn't he? He just plays every game. So I think that he's gonna have him still in there. The only one that I would really say you can take him out if you want to is Martinelli, and I would prefer to see Reece Nelson actually get this chance to actually play a full game, because Smith Rowe's injury, I know that he's potentially out for a while and everything else like that. Again, like we said, with Tomiyasu coming in, is such a good option. We need to see what these other options are, because you've obviously got Marquinhos as your left-footed player that plays on the right-hand side, so he can fit. He could probably do a job left as well, because and I loved Pepe, but unlike Pepe, he didn't track back and help out. Marquinhos does. He's in that mold like Martinelli is. He's like, as much as I'll give you that way, I'll give you it back as well. Which is probably why Arteta has already started. We got told when he signed, this is an under-23 player that could grow into becoming a first-team player. Well, he's just gone straight again away, right into the fold. So good on him. He deserves it. I think he's a really, really good player. Yeah, I would stay the same as what it was really. I don't think that there'll be much change. The only one I would make is, like I said, is having Nelson in for Martinelli. And yeah, Turner for me, I thought he did really well. I know he gets a lot of flack because obviously he's not a progressive goalkeeper. However, when he was called upon, he done the job. And you got to remember, we're 10 games in the league without a clean sheet at the Emirates. So he's got more clean sheets at the Emirates lately than Ramsdale have. So just throwing it out there. He's not better than Ramsdale, but I'm just saying. Give the boy a chance. And you know what? I don't know if it's because it's an American thing and he's used to that oval shaped ball, but his throwing distribution is incredible.
Yeah,
it's much better than his kicking. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah. I think I agree with the lineup. The fact that you can see straight away where we need some bodies in, and that's obviously the players that he keeps on having to play. You know, so Xhaka and obviously the left-sided. So it would have been Gabriel. But I think I would like to see maybe Gabriel come out and put Tomiyasu there so Tierney can get back in and get some minutes. Possibly he might start up there in Leeds. It's just be a bit tougher game with their running power. Neil, would you like to see anyone come in? Like I imagine that you would like to see Nelson as well have a run out.
I would go the same, and Nelson instead of Martinelli as well. Exactly what James said. I completely agree with it. I thought that the team done really well. Bodo a good outfit. The only thing they lacked was the finishing product. Their fans were amazing. I actually, in a way, if we were winning 5 or 6-0, I wouldn't have minded them getting a goal because they travelled all that way and they were amazing. It was such a nice atmosphere because of them. But I agree with James. I thought all the players called upon done well. Holding was brilliant. You know, Turner, Marquinhos, Eddie, they all were. Tierney, everyone on there did the job. You know, they did what was expected of them, and that's all we can ask. And you know, it keeps the momentum going, keeps us on top of the Europa League, which is so important because we missed that round, which I didn't even know about until yesterday.
Yeah.
We miss a round if we finish top, so that is vital for
massive.
us. And not just that, it keeps the momentum going for the club as a whole. And you know, it's just great that we have got the flexibility now to field almost 2 different teams to do well in their respective leagues at the moment, because at the moment the Europa 6 part is not a knockout yet, it is a league. And it's just great to see. And so I would stick the same. My only concern is, and again something I wasn't aware of, is they're playing on an artificial pitch. And you know, that could, my only worry, I think the only concern I have is not the result. I just don't want anyone to come out of there with any injuries. That's my only thing. So I'm just going to keep the faith and touch wood. You know, it will be okay.
Yeah, I want to see this guy again. I think he was really tidy against them. I think, you know, he'll start. Pretty sure that he'll start. And just think he's got it. He's got something about him. He's got the, you know, he gets the bit between his teeth and he just does the simple things really well. But I'm with you guys. I think you know, maybe Xhaka maybe will come out. I would say we'd like to see him just get a bit rested because I mean, he's a machine as well. But I think the Leeds game is going to be a hard one. You know, they're very, very aggressive in your face. So we just need to make sure that we've got as many bodies fresh. And like you said, Neil, that surface is not the best. And
do you know what, Michael? If he wanted to, again, this is just me, you know, thinking outside the box a bit. If he wanted to, at the end of that game when he took Xhaka off, and he had Odegaard and Vieira playing as the 2/8s with Lokonga behind them, some of the link-up play between them two. And I know the game was won and everything else, and they, you know, so they had more time to do it. They looked quite tasty as a 2. So if he wanted to drop Xhaka and go Odegaard, do you mind just coming deeper and playing as an 8 with Vieira? That is something that I could see working.
I tell you something, Vieira is the real deal. I think he's going to be breaking. I think next year you just watch how amazing he is. But I think even this season, I can see him starting quite a few Prem games next year, as early as next year. Honestly, I'm not joking.
He pulls the trigger, doesn't he, Neil, as well?
Oh,
you know, there was those 2 chances for Odegaard against Liverpool that he should have took them both. You know, if that's Vieira, he's probably tucking one away.
100%.
But I've got no qualms about Odegaard as a player. I would.
No.
You know, I think he's fantastic. You know, look at the pass in the first half. For Christ's sake, he's superb.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
I think
absolutely right,
Jamie Redknapp said it, didn't he? He went, look, De Bruyne's the king, but this guy's got to be. He's knocking on his door. He's a fantastic
yeah.
player.
Yeah, it needs to be a bit more of a killer in that instance. The shots. I mean, in that one which was basically a back pass in the second half, if he slides that to Saka, he's in. That's a goal all day long. So just in that situation, that's the difference. De Bruyne is an absolute killer in that situation. This guy is clinical. So when you get to that, and that will come, that will come because everything else is there. So yeah, I mean, yeah, boys, it's been an amazing week again as a Gooner. It's been, I'm pretty chuffed at how well the show is being received by people, and thanks for your input. I mean, I really, really appreciate it. I mean that from the bottom of my heart.
Pleasure to be on.
Just doing this out of love and stuff, and if people are watching it and leaving nice comments, that's what it's all about, really.
Subscribe to him. Subscribe.
Look, I can't keep giving out brown envelopes. I've already got a couple on the way to Neil and Steve. I said that last week, and I can't be getting some to you, mate. I mean, bloody hell.
Poor guy. He's got family to bring up.
Mrs. is going to be, going to deprive the kids from Christmas presents. They're going to be like, oh, we've only got one present.
Michael, can I just change the mold slightly? You've got to ask our predictions at least for the Leeds game. Go on.
Oh, you want to? Okay, yeah. So so I'll do it a different way. So who? I think I might have said at the beginning here of the first show. Who? What do you think the score is going to be? Who do you think is going to be the key man? And who do you think needs a good performance? Who are you worried about? In our team, of course, not worried about Leeds.
Are you asking me first?
You Neil, yeah. You want it. You go. You take it first. You stick up to the plate first, mate. Go on.
Right. My only worry is Gabriel. I think I think he's just lacking a little bit. Something little bit's not quite sitting right with him. So that would be my person I'll look out for. Hopefully, I'm sure he'll get it back, but he's just not ticking at 100% yet for me. The star man against Leeds. Oh God, there's so many to choose from. That's the beauty of it. So
do you want to make it easy for you? It's gonna be one of these boys.
All right, I'm gonna go for my favourite.
Can I just say how cold is that picture anyway? Just want to say.
All right, Martinelli, the star. Gabriel, a little bit concerned, and you thought, what I score 5-1.
Oh my word! You like I said, Neil. The clock's right, twice a day, so you're gonna get your 5-1 some one day.
I based that on what you said. You said that we're due a battering, and I know Leeds are a tough game. I know that they're an oppressive. The supporters are. It's going to be an oppressive atmosphere and an oppressive stadium. But you know what? If we start fast and get a couple of quick goals, I think we'll tear them apart. Yeah.
I think like I said, touching on it again, the mentality of this team is different, and Ben White said it was different, and so fingers crossed, man. James, what's your thoughts on the trip to Elland Road? Obviously, we're just skirting over Bodo Glimt. Obviously, you think we're going to win that quite comfortably. You don't need to worry about them. Just, but yeah, what's your thoughts on the Leeds game? Like Neil said, who do you think who needs a bit of a good performance in the locker, and who do you think is going to be the difference?
Yeah, apologies to all your Norwegian listeners. They're probably,
sorry.
Neil's lost your Norwegian fan base, so blame him, not me. Oh, you just completely nullify. You just pretended Bodo Glimt game don't exist. It's a foregone conclusion to you, isn't it?
Sorry, I take that back. Bodo, I think it's going to be tough, and I think.
Here he comes.
Wait! I'll just give a score prediction. I think it's going to be tough. 2-0. 2-0, Bodo. To us, I mean, sorry.
Oh, he's brought them back. They're coming back.
No, 2-0 to us against Bodo, but it'll be a tough game. He's like, they're a good team. Bless them.
Yeah. No, I agree with what you've said, Michael. Neil brought it up. Someone is due a pasting. And I did watch Leeds the other day, and I thought that their two wide men, Aronson and Harrison, are brilliant. Yeah, but if you shut them down, which we've been doing all season, Zaha didn't get no joy, Son didn't get no joy, Salah got no joy, and no disrespect to Aronson and Harrison, but them two, all them three players I've just listed are better than them two. No disrespect, and Palace were feeding with Elise and Eze to that Mateta, Edouard, and they just couldn't finish.
Yeah.
But I'm like, we've got Jesus, Martinelli and Saka. So when Odegaard is playing those balls in, them lot are clinical at the moment.
Yeah.
So I do believe. And was it 5-1 when we played them at Christmas last season?
Is it 4-1? I think it's 4-1, wasn't it? Or
I know it was a big. I know it was a big one. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a 4-1. They had a lot of their players out, didn't they?
Yes.
And Martinelli scored twice.
Well, we didn't think the game was going to go ahead, did we? Because was it snowing really bad? Or something?
It was because of the games were getting called off for COVID, weren't they?
That's it.
Yeah,
that's it. Yeah. Because I remember I went shopping because I was convinced the game was going to be called off.
Yeah.
And then I ended up watching it in the restaurant, and my mother at the time was furious with me. I remember, and I was like, "Hey, game's on. Got sorry, priorities, content, Susan, content." But yeah, I'm with Neil. He's done 5-1. I'm going to go for. Let's go 5-0. Let's say I will keep a clean sheet. He said Gabriel to have a performance. I want Ramsdale to have one. I want Ramsdale to get a clean sheet. I think it's for him. He gets so wound up when he concedes, bless him. But I think he needs a clean sheet. And then the main man, I'm actually going to go for Odegaard because it's like I said, it's going to be him that's feeding those boys to get those goals. So let's enjoy ourselves.
Yeah, I'll go with Ramsdale as well. I think he needs a clean sheet. I think he really does take it to heart. We know that they analyse the games and all the positions, everything, post game and what have you. But I would like to see a clean sheet there. I'll go for I'm going to go for a more conservative 2-0. I think in that instance, and man, I think he's going to have a good game. I think it's going to be key. I'm going to go Ben White, going back to his old club. A much matured Ben White. I think the last time he went there a couple of seasons ago, I think he was a bit shaky. He was got out a few times, and I think he was just a bit on edge. But he's going back there, a completely different player, obviously in a different position. But I think he's going to be, the outlet there. He was available so often on that right hand side as well. Again, a couple of times where Odegaard to pick him out, but the guy's been a revelation, and I just hope Southgate continues not to pick him, because we don't want him to just go over there and just get ruined over in Qatar if he gets selected. But if Trent's not going to go, then I'm sure he's going to probably end up getting him. But I'll say 2-0 and Ben White to be star man. So that's it for this evening. I really again appreciate you guys your time.
Sure.
I appreciate everyone watching and liking and the show. Really means a lot. I'll just show this as just a reminder. That was the score on Sunday, and beat the mentality monsters and what have you. So thanks for watching. This should be out in a couple of moments. I'll be back next week with hopefully 2 more results, wins to talk about. Was that?
Of course, we'll have 2 wins.
So thanks for watching. As it seems to be my signature, I've been Michael, the world's strongest man. Harris, he's been Neil, the heartbreak kid. Shah, and he's James, the ultimate warrior, Johnstone.
I'll take that. I thought you were going to go for mankind. I was like, I'll take it. That's what someone called me the other day. Someone the other day was like, "Oh, that guy that looks like mankind's good on that show, isn't he?"
Thanks for watching, and let's get some more results for the boys on this week and Sunday. Come on,
subscribe.
You know who made it.